Hello, 7th grade math students. Here are your guided notes for 2-1C, changing fractions to decimals and classify as terminating, repeating, or non-repeating decimals. Our objective today is learn to change fractions into decimals, and to classify. Our essential question is, what is the difference between the different types of decimals? Make sure you're putting your name at the top of your paper. Please do that now. That way you receive credit for your work and you don't have any missing assignments. Our class notes today are just on this page for our guided notes. Make sure you're writing down what I am writing down too, please. What math operation does the fraction bar represent? Our fraction bar represents division. That is what our fraction bar represents. Knowing that, another way of reading 2/5 would be to say 2 divided by 5. That is exactly how you change a fraction into a decimal. We're going to change these following fractions into decimals as well. So I'm going to write this out differently as 2 divided by 5. And if I show you on my calculator right now, if I go 2 divided by 5, I end up with 4/10 or 0.4. 4/10. You do the same with 6/5. Even though I know that I have a hole there, I can still just go right off and into division right off the bat with 6 divided by 5. I end up with 1 2/10, 1.2. So all these are all the same here. And this is exactly what you'll need to be doing for your practice problems today. So, in that sense, we are defining the following terms, and we're going to give an example of each. A terminating decimal is a decimal that ends. Pretty straightforward. Okay. Our example on this might be like what we have above with our 0.4. Our repeating decimal is an infinite repeating decimal. Infinitely repeating decimal. You might see this in examples of like 1/3. If we do 1 divided by 3, I end up getting 1 divided by 3. 1 divided by 3, I end up with a repeating decimal nonstop like that. Okay? We can write this as 0.033, and then we're going to put this little bar up top, which is our repeating bar. Signifies that continues and repeats and does not end. Okay, this is a very common one that you'll run into. A non-repeating, non-terminating decimal, it does not repeat. Or end. You're going to get numbers that are very odd sometimes and continue to not repeat. Might be something like 7, 6, 5, 9, 8, 4, and then just continues going. Does not end. It does not finish at the end of your screen. Those are non-repeating, non-terminating decimals. Okay. We look down here at this kind of application-based problem. Ian used a calculator to change 5/9 into a decimal by typing in 5 divided by 9. This is what it showed on his screen. 0.555555556. He said that this is a repeating decimal. Now I first want to show you what I get when I do this on my calculator here. If I do 5 divided by 9, I end up with the same thing. Okay. Is this a repeating decimal or is it not? Okay. This is a tricky one. You can say that this is a repeating decimal as it does not end, but if I'm looking at it from a different point of view, it also does end. So it kind of depends on the calculator. Some calculators are going to round up that last number, and that's generally what happens. Okay. So we're going to say that it depends. We're gonna say that most calculators on the screen to signal a repeating decimal. Make sure you're completing the summary down here at the bottom as well of how do you change a fraction to a decimal. That's pretty straightforward. You should use this top part here. If we look at the practice problems that need to be completed for today, you only have one page of practice problems. It's pretty straightforward. What I would like you to do on this page is turn each fraction into a decimal and then state whether it's a terminating, repeating, or non-repeating or non-terminating decimal. So make sure you're dividing it out. Make sure that you are writing terminating, repeating, or non-terminating. If you want to do that down below here, you can. And just make sure you are writing it out that you're doing the 1 divided by 5 portion of it as well. If you do that on the side or down below, I do not care. If you have 8 of those problems, make sure you're solving those and then putting this back in your folder so that way you have it for Friday. If you guys have any questions, you guys can rejoin me on the Google Meets, or you guys can send me an email if it's after class hours. Thanks, guys.